Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving deep into the latest updates on Lingling Kwong and Orm Kornnaphat's new series, Only You the Series. We've now reached episode 5, and honestly, this is one of the most emotional and romantic episodes so far. There are moments that make your heart ache, moments that make you want to cry, and then scenes so powerful that they make you fall in love with Tawan and Ayla all over again. But before we start, if you haven't watched episode 4 yet, I highly recommend going back to see it first. It will make episode 5 so much easier to understand and give you full context of the emotional roller coaster that continues in this episode. So without wasting any more time, let's get right into it. In episode 4, we talked about a mysterious singer named Pete who was set to make an appearance in episode 5. Just as expected, Pete finally arrived, and from the very beginning, he became a huge problem for Tawan. We all remember how episode 4 ended with a heartbreaking conversation between Tawan and Ayla. Their relationship was already on fragile ground, but now with Pete in the picture, things started to take an even more painful turn. Right away in episode 5, we see Ayla treating Tawan differently. The warmth that used to be between them suddenly feels colder. Ayla seems distant, almost as if she's pushing Tawan away, and naturally, you can see the jealousy and pain in Tawan's eyes. One of the most heartbreaking moments early on is when Tawan goes out to the balcony and cries. That scene was so raw and emotional. Lingling, playing Tawan, delivered the pain of unspoken love so beautifully. Watching her break down quietly, unable to express her feelings, was almost unbearable. And then things got even worse. The most shocking scene came when Tawan walked into a room and saw Ayla sitting on Pete's lap, their faces dangerously close, as if they were about to kiss. That moment crushed Tawan completely. You could see her expression change in an instant. Jealousy, anger, heartbreak, all flooding her face at once. In a sudden rush of emotion, Tawan grabbed Ayla's hand and pulled her out onto the balcony. And this is where things exploded. Tawan, red-eyed with sadness, asked Ayla, "Are you really sure you want to act like that?" And Ayla's reply cut through Tawan's heart like a knife. She said, "I'm single, and Pete is also single. If two people want to kiss each other, there's nothing wrong with that." Hearing those words, you could almost feel Tawan's world collapsing. For a moment, she even decided to resign as Ayla's bodyguard, saying she could no longer protect her. But then came the turning point, the moment that revealed everything Ayla had been holding inside for years. As Tawan tried to walk away, Ayla finally let her heart burst open. She shouted through tears, "Are you going to leave me just like you did 8 years ago? Do you know, ever since I met you again, I never dared to ask why you disappeared back then without leaving me any way to contact you." That moment hit so hard. For the first time, we saw Ayla's pain laid bare, the abandonment, the unanswered questions, the years of love and longing she had bottled up. She continued, telling Tawan, "You acted like you didn't care at all how I felt. Do you know how hard I had to work to become an idol, just so I could bring you closer to me again? Even though I loved you so much, you never loved me back. You never loved me." And then, the scene that fans had been waiting for finally arrived. At the peak of all this heartbreak, Tawan couldn't hold back anymore. She leaned in and kissed Ayla. This was not just a kiss, it was years of love, pain, regret, and longing, all poured into one emotional moment. You could see how much Tawan loved Ayla, how much she regretted the past, and how desperately she wanted to hold on to her. Lingling, as Tawan and Orm as Ayla delivered the kiss scene with such depth and emotion. It touched fans deeply, making the moment unforgettable and filled with both love and sadness. After the kiss, Tawan confessed that she had always loved Ayla, even back in school. And Ayla, though hurt, couldn't deny that her heart was still deeply tied to Tawan. Later, we saw a much calmer scene, with Tawan and Ayla sitting together on the sofa, talking about their past. This was such a tender moment because it allowed them to open up without all the drama. Tawan finally revealed something we had all forgotten about. Remember the Teru Teru Bozu doll from episode 1, the one Tawan had made? It turns out, inside that doll, Tawan had actually written her Gmail address. But Ayla never realized it. Because she missed that detail, she had always believed Tawan had left her with no way to reach out. This revelation made the scene so bittersweet. On one hand, it was sad that Ayla hadn't discovered the message earlier. But on the other hand, it showed just how determined she was to work hard and become someone big, just to pull Tawan back into her life. It was heartwarming, emotional, and one of the most beautifully written reveals in the series so far. At the end of episode 5, we got a glimpse of what's coming in episode 6, and it looks intense. We see Tawan and her team preparing to ambush Pete in order to expose his true colors. Fans are already speculating about what secrets Pete is hiding. At the same time, we got a heartbreaking preview of Ayla's father confronting Tawan. He yelled at her, saying, "When I asked you to protect my daughter, I meant as her bodyguard, not to get that deeply involved." The look on Tawan's face was filled with sadness. This is clearly going to test their relationship further, as Ayla's father doesn't seem ready to accept Tawan as more than just a protector. But here's where things get interesting. Some fans believe that Pete may not actually be a real threat. Rumors are spreading that Pete might actually be gay and that he could end up with Typhoon. Whether that's true or not, we'll just have to wait and see in the coming episodes.